This is a converted SG sole plate. It was once FG, it is now SG. This is the SG Pro variation of the same line of boot, and this is the anti-clog variation. Well, the question today, which one should you buy? Which one is better? To start with, let's address a couple of elephants that may be in the room. The first one being that Nike are moving away from this anti-clog sole plate, at least on their elite level models. It just doesn't seem to be available. However, it is still available on some of those takedown models, and it is still available on some great older models that you will be able to go out and get, so it's still very much worth considering. The other elephant is, well, these two boots are fundamentally the same, and that's simply down to my own choice of what to get converted. So I have to give a huge shout out to bootman.ie who did this conversion for me, because I wanted to get this boot converted for a very specific reason. On the whole, you or anybody else are probably going to be looking at conversions in boots like this, something that wasn't available in an SG sole plate, something that only came in an FG variation, and there are hundreds of them, from limited editions to special editions to boots that like maybe launch colorways. There's a lot of launch colorways that only launch in FG. So there's multiple reasons, multiple other boots that you might choose. I wanted this one for a specific reason, which we will get into in a little bit. Why is it a deal that they are essentially the same? Well, it's of course because this service is not free. You do pay to have your FG boot converted to SG. So if the SG Pro option is available, well, obviously that makes a whole heap more sense to go out and get that. But as I just explained, plenty of reasons to get a conversion, and I cover all of them in my previous video, which I will link at the end of this one. So in pure performance terms, which one of these is the best? Well, I am actually a huge fan of the anti-clog coating. I think it's very effective and does a very good job. However, having these solid steel capped plastic studs that essentially are not removable, once they wear down, there's nothing you can do. You can't adjust the stud length, and if they break, which is something that has been known to happen, well, then basically you're screwed. There's absolutely nothing you can do, and that is a huge downside for me on the anti-clog sole plate. Now, it wasn't always like that. You could get the anti-clog with the SG Pro style studs for quite some time. Nike seemed to move away from that to make the anti-clog more effective, and also in order to, how do I put this? Make more money? That seems to be one of the main reasons, but I do think that this is a little bit disappointing. However, speaking of conversions, this is another great way to use a conversion. If these studs break, wear down, or anything at all, you can get a conversion done to save your boots, or you can get an anti-clog boot and just have it converted so that you get the benefit of the anti-clog, but you also get the benefit of being able to change your studs to different lengths and just change them when they wear down. So what would be my favorite version of this? Well, it would be the anti-clog with a conversion done on it. But of course, that's also going to be more expensive because you are getting the conversion done. When it comes to SG Pro versus the converted, well, they perform exactly the same. There's no differences at all. This is comfortable, it's stable, and there really is no reason to worry about switching from one to the other. I have found zero issues. There is, however, one problem with converting a Mercurial, particularly the current generation of Mercurial, the Vapor 16 Superfly 10, and the previous generation of Mercurial. And this depends on your thoughts, but the reason that I wanted this particular boot converted was because I was running a little experiment. I got this boot converted, and Bootman.ie did it for me, and just went ahead with what I asked. I was very specific that it had to be this boot, irrespective of everything. And quite simply, the reason I wanted it converted is because I wanted to see if the Zoom airbag would basically survive being converted. And the answer is it does not. Because of the way that the conversion is done, which is done by cutting off the studs to cut them down, holes being drilled in to allow you to put in a thread and then screw in the studs. The hole goes all the way through the boot. Now it's obviously secured, it's very well put together, but yeah, it means that it pops your Zoom airbag. Now, as somebody that has been reasonably vocal about the fact that they don't love the Zoom Air in the front of the Mercurials, particularly the current generation, I'm not upset about this at all, but it is something to be aware of. Converting Mercurials will pop your Air Zoom unit. So overall, we've probably got the, let's say, cheapest and most logical option, the SG Pro. We've got the really great piece of tech, but built in a really dumb way, and will probably need a conversion eventually option. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend it, the anti-clog. And then we have the converted SG, which if you cannot get the SG Pro variation of the boot, you can only get an FG, for example, then this is a fantastic route to go down, one that I can really recommend. And again, if you want to check out where I got mine done, you want to check out bootman.ie. And if you want to check out all of my breakdown of why you might want a converted sole plate and why pros use converted sole plates, you want to click this video right here.